Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. I guess, yeah, it's evening for you. It's
I guess it's morning for you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
Good
good
evening.
evening, good morning.
Good evening, sir.
We'll wait for more people to join before we do anything, right? Because the hope is that others will watch your performance.
Yes.
We are also waiting for Professor Raza Mir to join also. So. Are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Excited.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have any experience doing this stuff or no?
Actually,
Yes,
we have.
sir. I have 2 times.
Okay, wonderful.
And
What about others?
yes, sir. We have some. We have been going through the process of group discussion before.
Okay, good. So, wonderful. So, has your semester started? Your last semester? Jamia, guys? Ashwini, can you hear me? Varis, unmute yourself then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure whether I was being heard or not heard.
Actually,
Yes, Varis.
nice. No, sir. Just I wanted to thank you that for arranging all of that. And the previous answers were very. They added a value in our perceptions and how we look things. And just wanted to say thank you for it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure to do this. Okay, so. Yeah, so we have very few students today. I have no clue why, but I guess they will join soon.
Hope so.
Rishad, are you ready to?
Yes, sir.
Very good, excellent.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
ready for the session.
Yeah, we'll start very soon. Sajjad Ahmad is here. So, Sajjad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sajjad. It's good to see you here.
Yeah, happy to be a part. Thank you.
Just as a matter of introduction, Mr. Sajjad Ahmad is Senior Director HR at Capgemini. So he is also one of our mentors. He is here to observe. There he is. Okay, so Professor Raza Mir is also here now. So I think. Good. Masum,
Yes, sir.
you are ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, excellent. we have to make sure that all of you guys are in places where you can unmute, the ones who are going to participate, unmute and not have any noise coming in from anywhere else. So that's the important part. Raza, you have to unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, Raza, completely.
Perfect. I'm ready.
थोड़ी देर ठहर जाओ Raza. Maybe some more students might join and then we will start. Okay, one second. Okay, there it is. So, how do you want to do it? I think a couple of students are going to introduce you, or one student is going to introduce you to the rest of the group. And then, it's up to you to provide instructions. On your WhatsApp, I sent you the names of the participants just now, so you may have a list.
I see the list, yes.
So,
yeah, I'll share everything as I go along. I want to speak less and then have the group discussion, and then after that proceed with the analysis. If you are around, you can help with that as well.
sure, I will be around, inshallah. So who's ready here to introduce Professor Raza Mir?
Yeah, hi sir. That would be me, Ashwini.
Okay, Ashwini. So perfect. I think we should start then. I think because we have about 52 people, probably not more than that might show up.
Yeah, sure. We can start. So it's a pleasure to have you, sir, for the GD session today.
One second. Yeah. Let's start once more because recording was in progress.
Yeah. Okay then. So hello everyone. I would like to introduce the mentor for the GD session today, Mr. Raza Mir. Dr. Raza Mir is the professor of management at the Cotsacos College of Business, William Patterson University. He completed his BE in biomedical engineering from the Osmania University. He also completed his PG from IIM Kolkata. He also earned his PhD in strategic management from University of Massachusetts. Professor Raza has won many awards for his teaching and scholarship. He has published several papers on strategic management, knowledge transfer, and management of technology in the leading management journals. His books are famous for quantitative research and philosophy in organizational studies. Professor Raza has also published multiple books on Urdu poetry, his most famous being Ghalib, A Thousand Desires, and Murder at the Mushaira. It's an honor to have you, sir, here. I'm really looking forward to the GD session we are going to have it here with you today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ashwini, for that most generous introduction. When I heard that introduction, I also got very excited to listen to myself. But and when you kind of put that thing like a biography, it appears very intimidating. तो पहली बात तो मैं ये करना चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं कुछ देर हिंदुस्तानी में बात करना चाह रहा हूँ शुरू में, और आपको ये बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि जब मैं आपकी उम्र का था तो बिल्कुल आप जैसा था। अगर आप इस वक्त अपने आप को थोड़ा बहुत इनडिसाइसिव और नर्वस पाते हैं अपने करियर प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स के ताल्लुक से, तो मैं भी कुछ वैसा ही था। ये जो आसिम अंसारी से आप बात कर रहे हैं वो मेरे बचपन के दोस्त हैं और मैं समझता हूँ कि वो भी मेरे जैसे ही थे। और हम लोग तो लेट अस बैक टू द पॉइंट कि हम लोग जो थे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज के ईयर में थे और उस वक्त हम लोग ये MBA के एंट्रेंस के लिए तैयारी कर रहे थे। उस वक्त पता चला कि ये एक कंपोनेंट है जब आप पास कर लेते हैं एंट्रेंस एग्जाम, अगर आपको अच्छे नंबर मिले तो एक ग्रुप डिस्कशन होता है. हमको पता ही नहीं था कि ग्रुप डिस्कशन है क्या, बट we blundered through, and as a result of that, we possibly did well enough. We articulated what we had to say in the group discussion, and हो सकता है कि हम लोग अच्छा ही किए होंगे क्योंकि एडमिशन मिल गया मेरे को IIM में, और उसके बाद आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते अब मुझे एक्सपर्ट जाना जा रहा. So now pivoting back to English, I just want to say that you are at that stage. And in fact, you are at a much more difficult stage, I would dare say, that than we are, because of the pandemic and because of the new normal. You are going to participate in group discussions that are going to be virtual. And virtual is a new animal. So stuff is going to be thrown at you and you are going to have to improvise on the fly. So we will try to work it out. देखिए, एक और बात मैं हिंदी में बोलते हुए चलूं कि अगर आपको साइकिल चलाना है या आपको स्विमिंग करना है तो आप उसके बारे में किताब नहीं पढ़ते, आप किसी और से उसके बारे में पूछते नहीं, आप साइकिल पे चढ़ते हैं और पहला काम ये करते हैं कि बुरी तरह गिर जाते हैं. और जब गिरते हैं तो ऐसे लगता है कि यार, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू राइड अ बाइक, आई विल बी टेरिबल एट इट ऑल माय लाइफ, आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई एम डूइंग दिस. बट धीरे धीरे करते करते आप साइकिल चलाते हैं. So what I want to emphasize is that the practicality of doing discussions is much more important than listening to me. In fact, if you Google group discussions, or if you go to YouTube and type out group discussions, which you must, by the way, at some point in time, if you have a few minutes, there are several people who will give you several pieces of advice. और थोड़ा बहुत उनको सुन लेना चाहिए, ज़्यादा नहीं, you know, because you want to be who you are. So I am going to now do exactly what I said that I shouldn't do and share with you a small, I speak to you for about no more than 20 minutes, hopefully lesser than that. And then what I will do is that we have these 8 volunteers, these wonderful volunteers. Thank you so much for volunteering. और उनके साथ हम लोग एक ग्रुप डिस्कशन अटेम्प्ट करेंगे और उसके बाद मैं और आसिम आपको फीडबैक देंगे. And hopefully what this is like a inauguration ceremony. What this inaugurates is a large number of sessions that the CETI group will be offering to anybody who is interested. And I would strongly recommend कि आप लपक के इस opportunity का फायदा उठाएं, क्योंकि आप जितने बार करेंगे ये उतना ही ज़्यादा आपको उससे फायदा होगा. And I'll say a little more about that. And at this moment, I want to share my screen with you. Give me a second. I will speak very, very quickly about this. And as I have mentioned, this is just a few tips. And this is just to kind of, provide a starting point. So what is a group discussion and why is it used? Well, it is a methodology to gauge a person's personality traits. I'm speaking now from the point of view of recruiters, from the point of view of not so much of university administrators, क्योंकि आप MBA कर चुके हैं, and I only want to talk about it from a job standpoint. So they are looking to test the following: your interpersonal communication skills. That is not your ability to what I am doing right now is not particularly interpersonal. Magar guftagu, discussion, conversation, how do you engage with people interpersonally? confidence in public speaking, whether your thoughts and your words are matching with each other, and then team spirit, whether you are able to engage with people in a group. Now, this is, I must say, going to be very, very difficult for you to demonstrate in a online setting. Then you have leadership skills, whether you are able to coordinate the group. Now, remember, you don't have to do everything all at the same time. Social behavior is the most important part, whether you are emotionally calm and whether you are not triggered by anybody, whether you don't get into fights, whether you are helpful to people who are nervous, all that stuff is very important. And occasionally problem solving skills depending on the topic that is given. Everything doesn't have to be gauged, but many things of here will be gauged. Like I said, it is mostly used, at least they say it's used as a shortlisting tool. So, 20, 30, 100 people are, shortlisted through the application process, and then through the group discussion, about 8 are shortlisted, let us say. But by the time you are in the 8, the same people who evaluate your group discussion tend to interview you. So your first impressions are made there. So group discussion becomes doubly important. Then how is a typical GD conducted? Usually there are 8 to 12 participants. Very occasionally there are fewer than that. And a topic is given. And sometimes participants are given a few minutes to think about it. At other times, they just open it up. And when they start it, the moderators typically keep their mouths closed. They just are listening, they are making notes, they are doing observation, and there are predetermined parameters they have. Usually, matter, language, style, whatever, the stuff that I gave in the earlier earlier slide might be used in a, out of 10 basis. They mark you and so on and so forth. Now, why is the group discussion important? They're not just looking to see whether you are good or not. They're looking at that too, but they're also looking whether you will fit or not, and whether you can perform in multiple situations, including stressful ones. So I just want to say, sometimes, Kay, you might think that the group discussion went lousy. And I'll say a little bit more about that coming down the line, but that doesn't really matter. If the discussion itself was not good, that's fine. You might have made a positive impression, and that is your most important goal. It helps analyzing the candidate's attitudes to others and some kind of, can you listen? And again, demonstration of your ability to listen is easier in a group setting face-to-face. You have to do this verbally in an online Zoom type of situation. You say, yes, I agree with you, or reframe and restate what somebody has said. You want to present yourself as somebody who is engaging actively. And then leadership and managerial skills. By the way, I just want to go back and say, how are we going to proceed with this session? We will have my session very quickly. We will have the group discussion. And then after that, we will do a debrief. And then after that, I will take any questions from the audience. So if you have any questions about what I'm saying, please feel free to ask me. And then types of group discussion topics. Some topics will be given that are deliberately controversial. And I need not say this, just because a topic is controversial, you don't have to be. For example, there might be a topic that says that reservations are bad for the economy. Now, this is a very, very sensitive topic, as you know. Reservations are given based on caste, and caste is a hierarchical situation. You don't want to be in fact, you don't want to be on one side or the other. What do you do then? You have to deflect it into the non-controversial side. That you can say that while I believe that certain groups of society are in society are disadvantaged and need to be helped out, we have to go about it in a very careful way so that other groups do not feel unfairly treated or something like that. If you say something like that, you take a very controversial topic and move it into the uncontroversial realm. And so here, for example, and every topic is controversial, folks. I mean, it is as controversial as you want to make it, right? Women make better managers, agree or disagree. Now, I will hope that all of you have very, very, socially progressive views on things. But having said that, अगर आपके views socially progressive नहीं हैं, I don't want to intervene and change your life. Don't express them. Don't express them in a group discussion. Always present yourself as somebody who is forward thinking and who believes in social equality, who believes in, so better and worse are very, very, deceptively dangerous words. So you always want to talk about equality and you want to move things along quickly. Now, the other one which I gave you, I just want to highlight the fact that what are your views on cryptocurrency? Ho sakta hai, it is possible that you know nothing about cryptocurrency, but that is your topic. Now, you are really going to have to work very hard. And at that point in time, it is better not to be the first to jump in, right? So if you are stuck with a topic about which you don't feel that you are in your depth, so a lot of people will tell you that it's very important to be the first to speak in a group discussion. It is not always like that. Speak when you know, and if you don't know, listen. And then the classic trick in a group discussion is to reframe and restate. कोई भी topic हो, any topic you have, you just reframe it and say, according to me, the topic is this. Or if somebody says something, I hear you, this is what you have said. And then add your own view. And that way, people have heard your voice, people have heard you articulate something, and you haven't really made a fool of yourself. It has also demonstrated that you have a lot of, ability to engage with a group. And I would imagine that if you attend many group discussions, the issue of COVID is going to come up substantially. So think about it, find out some good statistical nuggets, keep them ready, and feel free to share. There is something very authoritative about somebody who quotes numbers, who quotes facts, who says something that other people can work with. So particularly with regard to COVID, I will say that because it may come up, have some numbers ready. In India, we had this many at that point in time, but unfortunately, we had a flare up in the first quarter of 2021, and that many numbers went up, whatever it is. Use statistics that you can back up, keep them ready. So here I've asked, how effective is virtual learning? Is social distancing the new norm? What is its impact on the global economy? This sort of thing will become. By the way, those of you who are going to participate in the group discussion, then topic number 2, social media, a boon or bane to society, is what we are going to discuss today in our group discussion. So while I am speaking, you can start making some mental notes at least. No, the rest of you can keep listening to me, but I want to go very quickly because I think the discussion is more important. Now, initiating the group discussion, like I just said, you speak first if you have meaningful information on the topic or if you can do it well. It is okay to wait, and it is better to reframe. We've talked about it. Aggression is bad, but you have to do it sometimes because somebody might say something really, really stupid and regressive. And if you let it go, then shame on you. So, but you say it in a nice way. Huh? I understand where you're coming from. Somebody says, oh, women are inferior to men and they should all be staying at home. Say, excuse me, I would like to disagree with you. because my experience is different. Whatever it is, the tone of your voice is very important. Shut up, you idiot, is not going to work, as everybody knows. And agreement itself, in and of itself, is not wonderful. You have to agree and put an and. I agree with you, or say what you. I agree with you that ta 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 and ta ta ta. So 2 points get made. So one thing is that a loud meaning not a shout, but an authoritative voice that says, "May I have your attention for just a minute, please?" If you say something like that, then you may get your chance. And at that point in time, say something very quickly. And that is the most important thing. Don't get cut off. If you're at the end, you just stop and say, "Hey, Ashwini, what is your opinion on it?" Or something like that. Just give it up to the next person. And very rarely it may happen that somebody, attacks you. If somebody attacks you, remember that, they can do nothing to you. They can do nothing to you. There is no need to get very worked up about it, even if they make a personal remark about you. Just, stay focused. Don't let anything distract you. So like I said, the group discussion doesn't have to be great for you to be great. And folks, this is my final slide, because I want to move on very quickly, like I said. And I said, take everybody, including mine, by the way. Whatever people say, first of all, they are well-meaning. Secondly, they may know something we don't. So it's always good to listen to people. But after that, you do what feels right to you. There are a lot of, like I said, there are a lot of videos on how to do well in group discussion. And I would strongly recommend that you watch one or two of them. I saw this person, Dr. Sandeep Patil. I have no idea who he is. He is rather, directive. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Just listen. Don't model yourself after Dr. Sandeep Patil. Dr. Sandeep Patil doesn't know everything. And then, like I said, CETI will offer you opportunities, but there are other opportunities you can create yourself with groups of even 3 to 4 people. Just make a formal 10-15 minute group discussion. Just imagine, folks, if you work really hard at this, and if you nail a group discussion, you may get a job because of this. So why not, do your best to be prepared for this. With that, I will stop here. Thank you very much. If there are any preliminary, questions that you have, feel free to type them out. But otherwise, let us begin with the group discussion. I will say that we know that Jagriti, Fahad, Irshad, Nabila, Waris, Keshu, Faizan, and Masoom. The 8 of you are our guinea pigs. I thank you very much for your volunteering. I think it is very important. Please do not worry. We will just have a 15-minute group discussion today. 15-minute group discussion today. The topic of the group discussion, as I said, is social media, boon or bane to society. I am happy to see that Basharat Ali is also here, Basharat Bhai. So there'll be Asim and Basharat and I, and the 3 of us will give you feedback. But none of us are going to intervene at all in the 15 minutes. In the 15 minutes, you will sink or swim as a group. And Basharat Bhai and Asim, I invite you to keep your pens ready and make some notes and be ready to give specific feedback to these wonderful people who have volunteered. And in about 15 seconds, your group discussion will start. So take a deep breath. And when I say go, I will be silent after that. When I say
take a deep breath and relax.
yes.
Relax completely.
Yeah, Raza, there is Mubin also on the call and Sajjad. It is possible that they might also give some feedback.
I would be grateful. I would be grateful. Mubin and Sajjad, pens ready, please.
Yeah, and I told the students that one more thing. Sorry, I told the students that they will get about a minute to prepare. So let's give them a minute.
Oh yeah, no, they got their minute. They got their minute. So 3, 2, 1, Zindabad.
Hello, everyone. I'm Keshu. First of all, I would like to define the topic, what is social media. So basically, social media is a virtual platform where the people connected with the other people, irrespective of the reasons or places. So social media is generally a boon for the society, as it helps many people to connect, as it helps in avoiding the aloneness with the people, inside the people, and also it has helped the businesses to communicate with larger section of the society, as well as people like to share their own views they feel are connected in a well-defined manner. And also whenever a situation arises which is not in favor or bad, so people, it has helped to bring it in the knowledge of many people. Now I would like to invite
like Keshu have pointed out some very good points of boon of how social media helps, but I think that the bane side of or the con side of the social media override the boons of all the social media. Like we know that since the inception of internet, the biggest of the invention has been the social media, and it has helped the media section very rightly and very influentially. But the now we can observe that the social media has like social media has bring it some very regressive points like of mental health and constant dose of dopamine, which the people who get addicted to the social media requires to, and it also brings the inferiority complex in the people who are in constant
obviously there are some flaws, and technology always brought some flaws, because from eternity, means every technology whatever has been in the world has some flaws, but if on the basis of this we can't say that it is a big bane.
See,
but I want to
with due respect to Faizan. Yeah. So
yes,
with due respect to Faizan, I respect what his says about the social media being bane. But for me, social media can be a boon if you use it properly. It always depends upon the perspective of an individual, how you want to proceed with the social media. Like, see, due to the COVID-19, we have all seen that we all are even conducting this GD session virtually. So it can be both productive for us as well, and it can be depressive.
What would you say to the companies like Facebook who has introduced?
And you have pros and the cons, but when you see the things more thoroughly, what do you think? Like, if something has more cons than pros, you can't say that thing is useful.
Definitely.
It is indeed
there is nothing in black and white,
that social media is way more helpful for everyone. But there is a documentary of Netflix named as The Social Dilemma, in which they have stated that how the social media are influencing people and how they are like someone
it's the way the person uses it.
Definitely. So it's the person who is using.
There is always
an
age,
so
and
I support the views of
all have pointed out that
may I have your
depends
attention,
upon
please?
the users how they use it.
One
by one, please. Hello.
Look, I have just pointed out some few points from the
think this
discussion
isn't going
that
the right
it is basically
way.
a
We should-
dopamine related thing.
Please speak one by one. Hello.
we should
Issue.
give
Yeah,
one person
in
at a
our
time
daily-
to point out their
Yeah.
what wanting to state. So just
Okay, if
one
I
by
Yeah,
one, I think that
Irshad,
would be
but
the better
if you
option.
if you are saying
continuing from
that
the point
Netflix
of
is like a
positivism,
dopamine, then whatever you do in your daily life, and if you get addicted to it, if you wake up at late, then it is means it is a bane. Means and we
Yes,
can't
exactly.
say means it's a person who means it depends upon the person
So-
how he module himself. It's
yeah,
his habit.
exactly
Actually,
that
yes,
point.
I'm
Nabila
definitely
said.
agree
with Nabila.
But,
that
try to
what
depend on a
understand
Nabila
what
person.
it
have
really
already
means.
stated.
Like nowadays, if you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? Like you wake up in the morning, you don't wash your face
I woke
firstly, but
today.
then
Let's
you
talk
check
about
on
let's
today.
phone.
come up. Okay,
No,
let's
let's
come
talk
to the
about today.
topic.
I
let's
woke
come
up
to
today
the
in the
topic.
morning. I switched on my phone. I
It's
turned on my
been
Wi-Fi, and the
yes.
first thing I turned on was social media. And from there, I got to know that India had won a bronze medal in men's hockey. So you see that social media has been a boon. Before checking the news, I first clicked on the social media. There was a post from a different post.
Jagrati, but
Yeah,
the
Not
hadn't
just
be
completely
hadn't be
dependent
the
on the
social
news that
media
you
na
are
na
How
cor
you use
na
it,
firstly,
how
it is
you
the
use it, it's
electronic
completely
device you are
matters
saying first.
eventually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
definitely.
hadn't be
I
this
think
And
this
that
social
have an
media na
impact
now
on
we
your
have
mind.
we would have means how would we have survived in this corona time. One example I would
Definitely.
like to give that my mother we have shifted from our native place from long ago, and now when my mother I means now learns to how to use Facebook, and now she can see, contact to their relatives which she had met in their childhood. She can see their schools. Means
Yeah,
it is because of
definitely.
But
social
can't
media
you
only.
see the negative impact of this? Like people are meeting face to face online,
one
but
of the
due to this, they are not going there. They are not going physically there, and they are only
But
interacting.
this
So
is the
can you say
situation.
that
Like we
It's
are
for-
just,
facing a
it's just not
pandemic
about the
situation.
It
connection
is
with
a
That's
the,
why
positive way
it's
of
just
saying
not
things,
about
but
to be present on a social media. It has helped
we are
many people to make it their career
Definitely,
over
definitely.
the social media, and
Definitely.
also a person can share the vital information over it, which could benefit eventually the many section of the society. Suppose there are so many.
information has
Look,
also bring
there
the,
are jobs,
like
job
I would
scarcity in
also
the society.
I would like to
Suppose
bring
an
it
employer
means-
wants to make it in the
I would
knowledge of
like
the
to
many
highlight
people.
one.
So
I would
the
like to
employer
highlight one
would
more aspect of
eventually
social
have
media
to
being a
make it
bane.
on the social media platform so that
Guys,
the
can
many
you-
people
is
could
debate
benefit
of
from it, right?
is it a boon or is it a bane? You should see the
Yeah,
facts
that's why what I'm
only.
saying.
Like you
It's
have
a
to see the
boon.
pros and you have to see the cons. I am stating you the facts. Like it
Yeah, I
has
support you. I
meaningful
support
things.
you.
Like you can
But what I
contact
have
people,
noted, it
you
just
can
revolving around
contact
the dopamine thing.
the
It was
dopamine
just
hits.
What we are
Like if
what we
you
are
see
experiencing
things,
right now in the today's
hits
world
you.
or today's era, I think it has more aspects of being a bane, as well as at the same point of time it's also a boon to us. While talking about the bane prospect of social media being a bane to the society, I would like to go with whatever you eat, whatever you think, wherever you go, you are just always tracked by the social media giants, despite
Exactly.
of the fact that you are not aware of that, or even you are aware of the fact that whatever you think in your mind,
Yeah,
If
see,
you
that
if
comes
you
under
think
the data
deeply,
privacy
have to
problem.
take
Told.
yeah,
Like
if you
you
think
take the
deeply,
example
it's
of
a
only
Irshad, I support
but
your
you
answer.
just
no, Irshad,
That
if you
is
think
pointed
properly,
out-
it's a
can't
company,
escape that.
and
No,
they
suppose-
have
has
to.
pointed
Nabila,
out the
Okay, I
social
Go
media.
one by
if-
one. Let's go
No,
one
no,
by one.
if you
I support
listen
the
to
Irshad
All
view,
those
Actually,
people.
but
Nabila,
If I
let
may
me
make a
speak my
point
point
to
so
the
that I
Keshu
can make
Pathaks,
my points.
yeah, actually, I
Actually,
was
if I may
even
add
if you
to the Keshu,
disagree,
what
even if
Keshu
you
has
disagree
said,
with the policies that social media giants put on their websites or on their app, still you are being tracked.
Yeah,
so what's
no,
wrong in that?
Your
Irshad,
life is
if
being
you think
tracked.
deeply,
We are
it's a
using
company.
our
It is
privacy.
prone to
whether
make
we
such
want to be trapped
policies
or
so that
not.
we get attracted to it. How they
But
will
at
There
this
is a
point of
become
saying,
their
if you
profit.
are
It's
not
the way they are
paying
doing.
for
We can't blame
anything,
the culprit
people
that they are
are
doing
getting
The
linked
biggest,
because
See,
the
if
biggest,
social
people are
media,
getting
if
linked because of
biggest
the social media.
disadvantage
No, no,
that
Okay, so
social
let's
media
take a
is
practical
the
example
people,
of
the
it.
lack
Yeah,
of
yeah,
privacy
if
that
you
we
can
are facing
listen,
right now.
There's
We are
an
not
influx
we
of
are not living
there
our
is a
life.
information on
simple
social media,
saying,
and
if
guys,
you are
please see the topic
getting
is
free of
social
something,
media. The
yes,
topic is
exactly.
social media, and Irshad is just diverting the topic to getting the data privacy issue. So that is
No, no,
another
no.
issue.
He's
So
actually talking
how
about
is
the
it
it
is
not
social
very
media
related?
because the
relevant to
How
social
talk
is it not
about
media
data
related to
giants
privacy
are
when
social
you are
media?
talk about
manipulating
social
facts and
How
media.
is
figures.
social
We
media?
have the
How
They
is it
are
not
example
related
of
to social
Cambridge
media? Even if
Analytica,
you
where
think,
Facebook has
even
a
even even if you think of buying a car, the ads on many websites, on many apps just pop up on your screen.
Yeah,
Even
if you're
Depend
thinking
on,
about
if
data
you want,
privacy, you shouldn't
if you
use the
want-
phone.
how
Because
can you
if you want
There is
privacy,
nothing wrong in that.
you can off your
But
privacy.
it's, we
that's
must
why I'm-
consumer of
that's
it.
what I'm
also.
We must
pointing out,
first,
that it's
we
a
must first
bane.
Okay,
aware of it that what you
you-
want to
One
buy.
minute.
Right?
Depend on you.
The topic is
If you
data.
want to
The,
use
we
it.
are
Let-
actually
let
we are
Nabila
misleading
complete.
our topics.
Dekho,
Okay,
Ishar-
we are not
Ishar-
going
we-
to privacy issue.
Can we
We
give
should
chances
stick
one
to
by
our
one?
topic.
Can we
If
talk
we-
one by one? It will be better.
But
just
Nabila,
It's getting very loud.
if
loud.
we
It's
want
not
to
any
say that it's a
security
social
issue
media is a
thing.
bane,
It's a
and it's
on off
it's
social media.
it's targeting us, it's following our each activity and everything. It's very hurting that we are from this side of the table. When we are at the other side of the table, we are like, okay, let's track the activities of all the users and see how they are
Javedi,
behaving.
but you
But
just
yeah, that's
can't
an
deny
AI part.
this fact.
What do
You
you
can't
think?
deny this fact
What
that
if
it
the
has been
other
working
side
I
as a
of the
mean, why
bane
table
to
do
the
have
why
social
don't
media.
you ask the
This
user
fact.
whom you are tracking to, like, if they give consent, you
No,
go ahead with
if
consent.
you want to know that the users are so much about their privacy, then there are many personalities who don't publish in the social media because they are concerned about the
But
privacy.
then they don't
privacy.
use social
So
media.
they don't use the social media. That's
I
what
mean,
You
happens.
can use, but
the
you can
people who
protect your
upload their
privacy also.
photo in the
It's
social
not
media
about
don't know
who
that
There,
use and
there
who
are
don't.
many
It's
ways
all
to
about
protect
who
their
are using
privacy.
it,
There are
what are
many
the
ways to
norms of
protect their
that.
privacy.
Okay,
It all
so-
depends.
privacy.
You
Okay.
should
when
May I
the
say
blame
something?
Make your
social media
account
for
media
it.
private
platforms
also.
sells
May I
this
say
data
something?
to the
And
third-party apps like Cambridge Analytica.
okay,
What do you say
but
when
it's all depend on you, Faizan. It all depend on you and
See,
people who want to
Okay,
use.
let's come
let's
to the
If you want
topic.
but the
I would
let's-
like to
to
mention.
protect your privacy, you can
let's take
protect.
an
It's not a privacy
very
Yeah,
very
debate.
let's
It's a
let's
very-
come to the
media
topic, right?
yeah
I would
let's
like
take
to
a very
mention
good
something.
very
I
good
would like to mention
example.
if I
something
may
that
make
we are
good
a
point.
100
Keshu, we
crore
are
people,
on the
right?
topic. We are on the topic. Still, we are
See,
talking.
let's take a very good example. Right now, it's very burning topic. The arrest Lucknow girl. Everyone has heard. Everyone has heard of the
Exactly.
topic. Arrest Lucknow girl. That
Yeah,
girl was
true.
slapping that Uber driver back to back. She slapped 22. So
Fine,
that
fine.
arrest Lucknow girl was trending on Twitter like past day of 1 or 2 days before. So
Yeah,
did you
20.
guys see
Okay.
the
One of the
whole
It's
side of
not
the
a-
story?
it's not
Yeah,
a one
Jagriti,
thing.
there are many
Same social
incidents like
media
that
was
that
used
we
Yeah.
got from the
to
social
Let's come to
media.
the topic,
the
right?
same
It's
social
not
media was
a
used
topic
to
related to
Actually, she was
Shilpa
trying to
Shetty.
give an example that
I'm
how
trying
we.
to think that
Actually, it's not
from-
relevant here.
Misinformation
it's
are being
totally
spread
relevant. It's totally
so much
relevant. I'm just
faster.
trying to say that on the social media, before on checking on a news channel, you must have searched on Facebook that, oh, there was a video of CCTV image of that area which showed that the car did not hit the girl. It stopped right before.
Jagrati,
Okay, I support your views.
may I speak?
I would like
Yeah,
to mention
sure,
that we are
definitely.
the 100 crore people, right? And
Okay, if we may
and there are 6
give
crore
the point,
taxpayers in India. If they want
we
to
may allow
evolve in a
Varis
better
to
way, they must have to come
here.
on the
Varis,
platform,
Varis,
right?
Keshu,
On an
let-
online platform.
let
The
Varis
social media is a
allow-
wonderful
let
way
Varis
to
speak.
Keshu, let
evolve your
Varis
business.
speak. Okay, Keshu, let Varis speak.
Okay, so one of the aspect, thank you Faizan and thank you others. And one of the aspect which we miss in the discussion that the effect of the democracy. Recently, I have read an article in Wall Street Journal, which was stating that how Facebook and other medias manipulate the democracy. And one of the developer, as I can recall the name Zhang, he published a report in the Wall Street Journal how the Indian election, Brazil election, and the Mexican election affected by actually manipulated by the social media platform. Such as Facebook, and one of the aspects which was not mentioned in that psychological effect of it, that on the democratic right which we are saying that the privacy right, okay, we cannot ignore it. Yes, all of the things which was stated, that the higher reach to the people and the connectivity, which are very fine and very good, but the limitation should be there. That
Okay, I would also
Yeah,
like
Varis,
to
your points
one
are very
point, just
true
one
and your
point.
facts were
Just
very
one
brief. I
point
just like to
add.
counter the Varis because he said that this is, I truly believe that his facts are very brief, but these aspects were earlier than social media also. Means
I
earlier
would like
people
to point
used
out
to
that
try to
I
conspire
agree
and
with the
so
algorithm,
this is not
algorithm
about
part
social
of the social media wherein the people who have certain beliefs and who have certain values get interacted with the people who have same values, so it becomes like of echo chamber where you get exposed to the people who are already in your side, so you don't get world view and you get easily manipulated. Okay,
yeah, it's
And
correct, but you are
continuing on
saying
the
that
path,
it's totally
among the
depends on the
6 tweets
people
on the
who are.
internet, one is false, one is spreading misinformation.
It's
So what do you
I
think?
heard
Everything
this,
is not just positive.
I heard this many times that it totally it totally depends upon the user, but the social media are designed in such a way that it all the times attracts the attention span of the people.
Okay.
Like you can
It's not-
simply see
Guys,
if you like
guys,
one type of
guys,
video,
1
they are
minute.
they are giving you.
Sir
Sir
is
is trying
saying
to
something. Sir is saying something.
Next,
Sir is saying something.
It is
we
6
have
minutes left.
we have 3
We have-
minutes left, so I think we
So-
should all have one points
by
for
one,
our
and,
yeah.
Yes,
let's
Nabila,
give
you start.
Okay.
Let's start
Let's
with
have a
Varis.
conclusion among us.
Varis.
Let's start
Okay,
with
Varis,
Varis.
you
Okay,
start.
Okay, so I want to say that, yeah, social media has increased our reach and it's connected us all, and we see how it helped us in the COVID time, that SOS message which we see. But there should be a limitation, and the government and the people should be aware how their data is being used. And that's my final conclusion. And next
Keshav,
topic.
Yes, yeah. Hello. Yes,
Okay.
definitely the social media has negative point also. But now if we see in COVID situation, social media helps people to spend their time so they not get frustrated, and also using so they get some news about the regarding world, what is doing in the world. That's also social media helping in a business also. They provide the cost effective marketing techniques.
Masoom,
And
if you cannot make some new points, you have
If
to
you
only
can just
conclude it.
conclude in a
Let
little
it-
bit
let it-
more.
let
okay,
it complete.
okay, that's fine.
Let him complete. Yeah, Masoom, continue.
Okay, so that's why social media is now is an important aspect of every person's life, either he is on a personal issues or business. That's all.
Thank you.
Can I make
Yeah,
the next
sure.
point?
Yeah, please.
Like I'm just saying it's bane just because if you have more negatives of something and less positives of something, then you can't say that thing is good and beneficial for humans. Yes, it has beneficial things, but now it's more dangerous for humans, like it's impacting mental health on all those issues, spreading misinformation. Yes, it is helpful, but now the cons are more than the pros. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to continue. That being said, that it has more means cons, but I would like to say that it's a way of communication, it's a technology that we use. So the things which we are facing now that were earlier also, it's only a medium that we are using. So it's not because of the social media that we are facing these mental traumas and everything, but it's our own personalities and it's our own way how we handle it. So we can't say that it's a bane, it's obviously a boon, because we are getting ease with many things which wouldn't have possible if it wasn't discovered yet. We would have in early age people.
Based on the discussion that we had, I would like to say that it's completely it's a boon as well as a bane for the society, as it has helped the many people to evolve in their career, as well as it's a bane as it helps to distract the people as well at the same time. So I think that it's completely based on the person, that how a person uses it, whether the person is aware of about the consequences that he would having using that thing. So that's what I would like to say, that it's completely it's a boon as well as a boon for the society.
As per my opinion, despite of all the advantages that social media brings to the society, I would like to a little bit more inclined to the bane side of the social media, because the biggest problem that it has brings to us is the privacy breach that it has created. The slave that we are, or the byproduct that we are of the social media nowadays, or in the era of past few years. So the biggest problem that we have been facing is the lack of privacy. The privacy breach that it has created is the biggest problem that I would like to point out of the main aspect of the social media in the society.
Okay, so
that's
based
all.
on my discussion and hearing all my friends' views, I reached to the conclusion that the social media is more of a bane rather than boon for the economy or for the society, because the introduction of the social media was for the good means, but now that it has been hijacked by the corporations and it is being used to brainwash and manipulate people, and has created many social trauma and problems related to the mental health. So I'm more inclined to believe that it is more of bane.
And so in the conclusion, after hearing everyone's viewpoint, I would say that it's a boon for the current society that social media exists today. it also depends upon person to person how that they proceed with the use of social media. Like businesses doing, as Keshu pointed out, that business is booming just because of social media, and
Yes.
also the depression part which Faizan mentioned. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. And this concludes our group discussion. Give everybody a big hand, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
I want to set the parameters of the feedback as well. We have 4 pieces of feedback that will come to you. One is from me, one is from Asim Ansari, one is from Sajjad, one is from Mubin, actually 5, and Basharat 5. So the people who are giving feedback, I would request you to keep your feedback to no more than 3 minutes. And this is a diktat that I will also follow. And then after that, we will continue with the discussion. First, I would like to address all those of you who did not participate in the group discussion. You might have felt a sense of great impatience कि ये क्या हो रहा है? अगर मैं होता या मैं होती तो कुछ और बोलता या बोलती, and why aren't they doing this? That is a great positive feeling. Yeah, hold it inside you, and when you get a chance, you should make the most of it. Now, speaking to the participants, I think each one of you had, first of all, I would like to all that I could not have hoped for a better group discussion to start. It might have felt very, very nerve-wracking at various points in time. By the way, I gave you more time. Nobody gives you this time for everybody to have a nice little roundup, and Jagrati finishes at the end with a big flourish. That's not how it ends. They just cut you off at the 20th minute because they have the next group coming in. So Jagrati, don't be the last to speak always, because you might be the one who doesn't get to speak.
Okay.
So the other thing is that I think that the others may also give specific feedback to different people, but I want to state what I liked, and there are 3 things. One is try to make it personal. So, for example, when Nabila said, "My mother," I immediately started listening. Okay, and Jagrati also made it briefly personal. Then, when you give data, for example, Waris said Wall Street Journal, or Fahad said documentary, social dilemma, I began to listen. And then you talked about, for example, I'm just mentioning these as positive points, but you didn't use it super well. For example, Waris, you didn't do much with the Wall Street Journal. Faizan, you didn't do much with dopamine. You just threw that out. You said dopamine and I was listening. Lekin, you didn't do much with the dopamine. So you have to do better, but you will get there. Masoom, you have a nice way of speaking. You are a bit laid back. You have to attack. Keshu, you had 2 things. Your opening, of course, helped your case immeasurably because you had the floor to yourself for a minute. You can do more with it. And then when you finished, you said, and Jagrati also did that, based on the discussion we had, that's how you started. And I said, okay, this guy is demonstrating to me that he is listening. And process-based interventions sometimes help. Not always and not the only thing. What I mean, example, is that Irshad at one point in time said, come on, we are talking all at the same time. Let's all talk at the one by one or something like that, you said. And that immediately resettled the discussion. So you make 1 or 2 process-based, process as in, I think it was Nabila who said, okay, Professor, sir is saying 3 minutes are left. Let's each one say whatever. Each one of you had ways in which you did well, and I appreciated it very much. Thank you. I'll let Asim speak next.
And so just want to say that Professor Parvez Talib from AMU is also here, and we would like to hear from him also, as we proceed. Yeah, so I think, Raza gave, very good feedback in terms of what to do. I will not try to repeat the same points. A few things to keep in mind. First, I think, Masoom, you did not talk much, but when you finally talked at the end, you were very sensible. And so I think for you, it would be important to try to get heard early on. So, because life is not so kind, you may never get an opportunity to speak. And so you have to somehow assert yourself. So that's one aspect. The other aspect I think that is important for you is that the camera needs to change because it is very difficult to see you, and that could be a disadvantage. So you will have to work on that. Varis, again, the same thing. You were very sensible. You talked about political manipulation. That's an important point. When you spoke well, but then you also were very sort of, you did not assert yourselves. You waited quite a bit. And again, it is possible that you may not get a chance if you do not assert yourselves. And so I think I would advise you to make sure that next time around you come in earlier than you did. Irshad, again, I think Raza mentioned you tried to moderate once by saying that we are talking over each other. That was a very good intervention, but you didn't really take it from there, in the sense that it was difficult to even hear that you were trying to moderate. And so when you try to moderate, do a process command, you should somehow hold the floor then and exert your leadership. Now, in terms of Nabila, I think the one good point, apart from many others, is that she's asserted some sort of a leadership role. It looked like some others were sort of, giving you the floor and letting you kind of moderate what was happening, and that your intervention towards the end, which said that, let everybody speak, was a good one. And so I think that was good. Faizan, again, you were good. You started off saying that, this is a bane. You took a position. You also brought in the issue of echo chambers. You could have, pushed that a little bit more because that is a very valid point. So you were good too. Keshu, again, as Raza said, you started, so that is a good thing for you. And I think you sort of, that's a plus point in some sense. And then Jagriti, of course, you ended well, and you were also in the middle quite good. So I think I may have missed out many points in this thing, but there are others, luckily, so who can pitch in. Raza, over to you.
Thank you. I'll pass on to Basharat. In the absence of Basharat Bhai, let me pass on to Mubin. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Great, because I'm using my laptop microphone. I haven't got my headsets on. Yeah, thank you for all the participants. It always takes courage to step in front of your friends and colleagues and actually have a group discussion in this fashion. It's a great learning experience for you as well as for others. I think individual feedback has been very beautifully given by Aliraza as well as Ansari Sahab. And what I would like to really speak about some general trend that I observed, which all of you should be aware of when you're going in. I think Keshu started off very well saying, look, it's a good thing and stuff like that. And I think Faizan, you just came in immediately and tried to tell the opposite thing. There is this urge, and I've seen this before, especially when there are very controversial topics. There is this urge for somebody to take the opposing statement just to make a point. Yeah, and so you started off very aggressively and came out all bristling, but then you fizzled out very quickly because I'm not very sure you were very clear about why it was a bane and not really a boon. So watch out for this. And this is a very instinctive reaction. When there's somebody taking a particular position and you're competing with them, you tend to take the opposing position, even if you don't completely believe in it. And always remember one thing, especially when you're in a live situation with 3 or 4 people shouting and screaming, what comes out is what you really feel. So sometimes in these controversial topics, it's not necessary to take the opposing view unless you're very, very clear that and you have thought through it and stuff like that. So don't go instinctively the opposite fashion. So that's one general thing. The second thing is, what I did notice is that, and I saw this a little bit in almost all of you, not all, almost all of you, is that you suspend listening to what's going on. And your mind is completely focused on, mere ko chance milega to main kya bolunga. So what you're losing at that time is what others are saying, to absorb what they are saying and then come back maybe with a very good point or agree or facilitate. But everybody is so eager to say something or the other that you forget to listen. You forget to breathe. I could see some of you like almost not breathing. And so therefore breathe. Look at everybody. Now I know this is a virtual one, and therefore in a real life scenario, I would be expecting you to actually be looking at everybody and exchanging glances with them, and that way. For those of you who are very quiet, I think it was Waris and Masoom. I think Professor Ansari said the same thing. Life is not going to be very kind to you. So you need to step in earlier. I think you had some good thoughts on that. Use the chance. And one thing which possibly all of us will learn all our lives, some people have a natural talent of walking into a conversation. The right time you just interject so the other person doesn't feel insulted, you don't sound rude. Some people don't have it. People who don't have it, this is something that you'll have to observe in other people who seem to have it and learn. What are the points at which you can come into a sentence? Because there are some people who start off talking and don't know how to end. Keshu, you had that problem. Yeah, you have a good point, make it, hand it over to somebody and shut up. You don't have to continuously keep talking. And I think it was Faizan who did that. You would start something, make a point, but don't know how to cut it up. Yeah, I thought both Jagriti and Nabila did a damn good job, not only of expressing what you want to express, but also of getting people in. See, in a group discussion, people are not really trying to see how smart you are. People are not really trying to measure your IQ. People are trying to see how will you behave in a team. Will you treat your team members decently? Do you have a brain? They will definitely look at that. Do you have some thoughts, opinions? But definitely they are looking at how you're going to be behaving with others. So please, if you find yourself in a group where somebody is very silent, please be the first person to call him and saying, what do you think? So if, let's say, if Waris has been very quiet, somebody should have said, Waris, what do you think? Nabila did that somewhere in the end, saying, can I hear Waris speak? That's a very good thing to do. And the thing about what Ali Raza said about using personal examples, using Wall Street Journal, moms, personal experience. When I woke up in the morning, I saw this news, hockey we won. People immediately tune into you. Even the people who are stuck thinking, "Main kya bolu aage," are immediately tuning into you. So, broad trends to summarize. Don't be eager to speak. Hear what others are saying. Having said something, made your point, don't drag it on and on, don't repeat. I have this problem of repeating myself after so many years of experience. Yeah, but watch out for that. Be conscious, be self-aware of what you are trying to say. And once you say something, say it, be done, move on, hand it over to somebody and involve others. We are seeing your team behaviors as well as your quantity and the quality of what you are thinking, whether you have something to say. I hope I'm within those 3 minutes, Ali Raza.
Thank you, Mubin. And very, very useful, should I say, integrative points. I'll hand over to Parvez Sahab and then let Basharat Bhai have the last word.
Thank you. I think by and large, all the points have been covered. I wish to comment on 3 general points and then a few individual comments. I like this idea of what is the purpose of evaluation in a GD. I think we are trying to assess your team abilities. And team abilities has 2 aspects. One, how do you get along with others? And then how you take others along. So if somebody is interrupting, for example, Nabila was making a good point, and then Jagrati intervened. She just interrupted her and started with her own points. So as a team member, is it a good quality? Just this is something which needs to be reflected. And in continuation to that, what Mubin said was one thing. We need to maintain balance between talking and listening. But sometimes we suspend listening. And then we come up with a new point altogether without bothering as to what the group is discussing. So then we are actually not in touch with the group. Now that is something I think which needs to be avoided. Then Raza Saab in the earlier intervention made a very pertinent point about not taking extreme sides and maintaining a balance. So Faizan, this especially applies to you. Perhaps you were taking it to a rather extreme and using very strong words like brainwashing and manipulating. So avoid, personally, I would say avoid getting into extremes. Can we do away with social media in a present day kind of world? So how can we actually use media, social media to our advantage? That should have been the key focus. So that's my general points. Now coming to some individual observations, Keshu, I liked your dress and mannerism. It appeared as if you are there for an occasion. And this has a very powerful impact on the panel. But I think language finesse is one of your concern, especially pronunciation of some of the words like people. I mean, if you can iron out, it would be great. And Faizan, I've already commented. And I think that extreme posture that you have taken up, it was reflected in your facial expressions also. Have relaxed facial expressions. That would do good. Nabila, I think your participation overall and Jagriti, both of you did good job, and you were maintaining a very pleasant disposition. That was good. But I personally feel that we should not personalize the discussion. Pointing out, like for example, Irshad, you are diverting it to security issues. You can say it in a general way. I think let us remain focused on the theme and not getting into some specific other issues. So I think a point has already been made about Masoom and Waris. They were good, but perhaps they were too good. So can you cut in early in the discussion? And yes, we are not advising you to be aggressive, but you have to be, somebody talked about dominance. Yes, we should not dominate. As a team, we cannot dominate. As a team member, we should not dominate. So, but assertiveness is required. You have to make your presence felt. But perhaps Waris and Masoom were too good to others. And that may actually not be the right kind of. So that's all. I think we need, some of you need more content also. For example, if we remain confined to just 1 or 2 points, democracy or security, somewhere content also matters. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I apologize. I am again changing the order, but I'll let Sajjad speak and then Shad.
Thank you. Thank you, Razamir. Well, first of all, congratulations to all of you who took part in it, because I know, one, it is difficult to volunteer. Second, to listen to feedback where your other friends are also listening to some of your shortcomings or the improvement areas. It takes a lot of courage. So I think you all should feel proud about yourself that you have volunteered and hearing feedback from so many people. And I think my job is pretty easy because I have kind of deleted everything that has been said by others. So I'll try and bring in some newness. So it is obvious that the whole group discussion is a setting where you will feel nervous. So there were some nervousness that I could feel, so that is absolutely fine. And I guess there was a point where Jagriti and Fahad both started together. What, as an interviewer or as a potential future employer or whatever the decision maker will try and look for is whether who is taking that decision to stop and say, okay, Jagriti, you go ahead. And after Jagriti is done, is she handing it over back to Fahad, or she is just leaving it to others to pick it? So these are some very small nuances that the observer will look for, right? That is one. Waris, I like the way you called out Jagriti's name, because that is one way to capture the attention of somebody else, because all of us, the sweetest thing to all of us is our name. And when somebody calls it, we kind of give that attention. So in group setting, if you want the other person to stop and you want to put across your point, you can call that person, and chances are that they will keep quiet. And as Mubin's pointed out, I was actually trying to look for that one opportunity where somebody will say that, okay, we haven't heard Waris or Masoom, let's see what they have to say. Waris had to literally say that, may I speak? Then everybody started saying yes, 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 right? So that is another attribute that observer will look for, whether are you trying to include everybody into the conversation. So that is also one of the leadership thing, right? Because once you become a team lead or a manager or a supervisor of a group, are you having that eye for detail? Are you trying to bring everyone in? Because you will lead diverse set of people, and diversity actually is good for the organization. And one last bit is, as I think it was repeated earlier as well, everybody was in a rush to say something. The person didn't even finish and you started saying what you had to say. So that clearly tells me that there was no active listening. And last one, Fahad, I think you gave good examples. And what I liked the most is you were having fun. As I heard about the loosening up a bit. So you were smiling and you were kind of relaxed. So that was good. And you used a lot of your hand movements to make a point clear. So that is good. What else? I think that's about it. So I think these are the points that I just wanted to reflect on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I hand over to Basharat Bhai, I want to say one or two sentences about him at the risk of embarrassing him. 35 years ago, when I was trying to participate in group discussion, Basharat Bhai coordinated that for us, and he's been doing this, and he's put this one together as well. So it is only fair that he should be the one who should pull it all together for us.
Thank you so much, Arzad. See, you try to give to others what you are not good at. So you and Asim are always examples to me. So I thought that you both need the best. I'm really very pleased and glad to see that how courageously these guys have taken part in the discussion and spoke very well. I think a lot has been said. I will just add a couple of points. One is Keshav. I think you are holding the the microphone close to your lips and speaking is a bit disturbing because the camera is so focused on you. So if you can avoid that, that's better. And that was resulting in your voice becoming much louder than the others. Many a times, the others were what they were saying was becoming inaudible. And then the second thing is, I think Asim has already, Professor Asim said, I think Masoom's camera has an issue. Your face should be very clearly visible. And his image was a bit blurred. And then one thing I mean to notice is Waris' strategy worked very well, though it's not advocated. He kept quiet and everybody said, no, it's Waris should speak. And sent the guy good 2-3 minutes uninterrupted. Everybody was listening to him fairly well. And then you made full use of that opportunity. Sometimes your slips also give you an opportunity, Waris. And in the after first 3-4 minutes, there was a lot of cross-talking which was happening. And after that, it got controlled. And then I think a couple of people have mentioned earlier, see, unless you listen well, how can you comment on somebody, what they're saying? So make it a habit of listening to somebody, particularly those where on points where you think you are strong, and then you can pick up from them and then speak. And finally, it's 15 minutes, you said, right? And 8 of you are there. So virtually you get less than 2 minutes each. If you're all fair to each other, but no, that doesn't happen in this case. So make sure that you raise only very few points, very precise, and then every round you get a chance, try and conclude to that bit. Once again, congratulations to all of you. Raza Saab, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Basharat Bhai. And now, I think we should be very quick about ending the session as well. So I don't want to end the session right now, but I do want to say that we will end it after a little bit of Q&A, not too much. After that, Asim and team will figure out a way in which all of you will get to participate. Now, you got a whole lot of feedback today, and most of it was very, very positive. As we keep going on, the feedback will be more directive because we want to distribute ourselves amongst people. So I will conduct a few sessions for these people and others, and the feedback then might be more, specific and perhaps more critical. That would be fine. But having said that, the most important thing is the practice. And I do hope that everybody who is here, I see 66 people, and 66 and more will volunteer to participate in group discussions. The more you do, the better you will get it. So I'll take questions now. Anybody who's interested can type in a question. I already
that reminds me one old saying, Raza, that feedback is the breakfast of champions. So this champions start their day with feedback. So take it seriously.
Yes, 100%. Feedback is very important. Take it for what it is. If you feel that the feedback is not great for you, that's fine. But listen to it, and you might do differently the next time. So this business, Kamran's point that I will address about the fine line between dominance and assertiveness in GD. And so take, for example, today, we all have listened to Arnab Goswami style debates on TV. So we know pretty much what is not to be done. But the group discussion is the group discussion. The group is an entity, and sometimes you don't control it. When you don't control it, the group discussion comes out looking lousy. Don't worry about it. Your job is not to have the greatest group discussion. Your job is to stand out. And that is very important. Everybody has made this point that when you get your chance, be ready to take it. And if possible, be ready to stop and then let the fish market continue for a while. So when you get your chance, hit it and get out. Faizan asks, can we change the stance of a topic? I think I understand what you are asking, which is to say that if everybody is going in one particular direction, you say, no, why not go in another direction? That is fine. But that is how you do it. How you do it is to quickly summarize. All of you are talking about social media as a boon or bane to society in terms of what it does to people's minds. But I also want to bring out issues of privacy, or I want to bring out issues of corporate control of information or something. So if you say the first part, then you can say the second part.
Zainab had a question.
Go ahead, Zainab. I'll just read it out. Is it fine to have a neutral approach towards a given topic in the group discussion? Yeah, in fact, I would say a neutral approach is actually welcome. The more important point to say is that if by neutrality you mean there is this and there is that, and I think both points are valid, that's great. But when you say this and when you say that, you have to be specific. You have to pull the points together, and that would be absolutely fine. And yeah, same thing Nabila asked, and I want to make the point as strongly as possible that there are certain positions that are simply not worth taking, not worth fighting over in group discussion. In group discussion, it's always better not to be stuck on one position and constantly be on one or the other pole. It's always better to be in the center. And extreme positions usually, indicate a certain ideological framework. You don't want to tell people that, I have very, very specific particular views, because if they have the other kind of views, you've lost them. Aisha, it's a good point that you have asked. Is there a metric that you have to think about? Is there a metric you should think about? I wish I could say quality is the only thing that matters, but sometimes a certain amount of quantity is good. A certain amount of quantity is good. If somebody overspeaks and if somebody overuses the time, it is a negative point. But to be frank with you, and I'm speaking most tactically, it is better to speak more than to speak less. It is better to speak more than to speak less. It's always better to be in the middle and make some good points. But when you get your chances, you take them. Nobody appreciates crosstalk. So, if someone's talking and you're talking, then generally it is viewed negatively. That's my understanding.
Any other questions?
Kamran said, don't get very emotional. Don't get very emotional. It's very important. Emotional convey.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please, Irshad.
So let's suppose I have taken a certain stance for the topic given. And in the midway, if I go opposite of my stance and put in the perspective or the view of just completely opposite of what I have stated earlier, so is it going to be a negative impact, putting the negative impact on the moderator or the observer? That
what do you say, Mobi?
Actually, basically the change in stance in the mid of the GD. Can I do that?
No, I will ask my friend Mubin to answer that question.
Which is why I sometimes get a little bit worried when somebody takes an extreme position. See, in a team meeting, I think Sajjad said that earlier. We are evaluating, and professors have said that, we are evaluating how people will behave in a team, how people will work with others, as well as whether you are able to think and have an opinion. So which is why it is very, I would not advise to take an extreme position on anything. Most controversial topics, there is always a golden mean. And as long as you are not too far away from the golden mean, you need not give up one position. That's number one. Number two, don't get emotionally attached to one position. Social media, boon or a bane, is it really going to make a difference to you with a boon? Is it really going to make a difference to you with a bane? What you're looking for is a time to impress the people, to show them that you can think, to show them that you have a point of view, and to show them that you can get along with others. What social media is going to be an endless discussion. For the next 25 years, we will be arguing this, believe me. So don't get married to your argument. Take one corner and then somehow defend it. So that's why it's very important to be relaxed, smile a bit, hear everybody, appreciate good points made by somebody else. Hey, that's a very good point you're making, actually. Those kinds of things. Say that. So yeah, if you have taken an extreme point, I think you lost the game already. And then whether you change it or not, I doubt it's going to make a difference. Whereas if you're not drifting too far away from the golden mean, then you can change your point without sounding as if you're a loser.
I mean, slight course correction is fine, not a U-turn.
I agree.
Yeah. In fact, actually, that's why I think Mobeen Saab's advice of not taking an extreme position is the most sensible one. You look like a balanced individual who can, think about a topic from both perspectives, and I think that is always a valuable, thing to project.
Just let me give you a small example of my own life. Way back, 100 years back, when I was still very young, and went to one of these development academies or development courses or something like that. And there they had put us one case study like that. And me and my partner, who was supposed to go and do a negotiation with the union for that, I decided to take the extreme position just to give the nice talking point to my partner so that we can convince the union. So after that, when I came back, the facilitators who were around asked me why I was being so militant. Although it was an act, although it was a setup to go and convince the union and stuff like that, in a situation like a group discussion where you're vying for a job, where you're vying to be selected, don't become an extremist. Do not become an extremist. Very rarely in life, I mean, all you guys, as you grow, you will realize that there are multiple sides to almost everything. There are very few things which are unilateral and single thing. So therefore, don't fall into the trap of taking an extreme position and then getting married to it and hanging on for dear life.
Okay. Thank you, Mobeen. Thank you very much. I do want to briefly ask Sajjad, to give one or two specific tips on how to people could have conducted this group discussion better. But before that, I just want to say one thing, that one of you could have said, in hindsight, do we know what social media is? And then, once you do that, it sort of goes into a definitional space. And if you can quickly encapsulate what social media means and how it is different from non-social media, I don't know, anti-social media, whatever, what is social media? That provides another way to sort of enter the discussion and refresh it. So this defining one of the terms in the group discussion is a tactic that you might keep in your toolbox. So yes, Sajjad, if you could give a little, benefit of your insight, that would be good. And if he's not there, then may I ask?
He's here.
And so Sajjad, before you finish, I would also like Parvez to say something after you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So I think I will. Sorry, Parvez, you want to go?
No, I will make a point later.
Okay. All right. So I will resonate with what Mobeen sir said. I think from a psychological point of view, the moment the topic is given, we take the position basis already the beliefs that you have or the exposure that you have around that topic. And let me tell you, in the corporate world these days, the most sought after attribute that the organizations are looking for in people is agility, because things are changing so fast, be it technology or the methodology or the methods, the frameworks, whatever, it's changing. The customer demands are changing and there is no room for rigidity. So whatever Mobeen sir said makes perfect sense for today, and I'm sure going forward it is going to be even more crucial and critical for the future workforce to be agile, right? And you are going to work with a lot of cross-functional teams. I mean, you will not have the liberty to work with the same team for, endless time, like how we used to do earlier. There was a team for like probably a year or two. But these days, the teams changes You work with different cultural people. So you have to be open. Unless you are open to other people's ideas, then it is going to be extremely difficult, because you will end up spending a lot of time dealing with the differences within the team, then working towards the objective of the project that you are a part of or the team that you are a part of. So those are my reflections.
Thank you, Sajjad. And we'll let Parvez have the last word, and then we'll close out the...
Thank you, Raza Saab. I think I'll make a point regarding how to initiate the discussion. And it's a debate. It's not a debate, it's a discussion. So somebody who initiates, his responsibility is to throw open the issues in a neutral manner. Like, for example, Abhi Raza Saab ne kaha, what is social media, for example? Then let us come to this point, how it is a boon or a bane. So somebody should throw open the issues. And then that becomes the kind of framework under which the group operates. So taking the lead is a high risk game. If you can give a proper lead, it would be wonderful. But take the lead in a neutral fashion, not taking a side, I am for social media or I'm against social media.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And in closing, I would like Asim to speak about the way forward for this group and how we are going to proceed.
Can I just make one point, Asim?
Yeah,
I think we should understand the difference between discussion and arguments. Where you're discussing, you're not arguing. It's a group discussion. In argument, you try to win an argument. Where in discussion, you try to come to a solution, find out the truth, or come to a strategy.
Exactly.
So approach should be that only, not to win or someone else feel that he has lost the discussion.
Yeah, I mean, a wonderful point. So going forward, we just wanted to start with this thing first. And, again, I want to reiterate that the set of 8 people today who volunteered, indeed, courageous, and all of you did a great job. It is not easy to take feedback in front of others. So I think that by itself is great. So this was just an initial thing so that we can motivate others to participate. So the plan going forward would be that we will work with Safdar and Arif and via the WhatsApp group. And your task would be to form groups of 8. I think 8 is a good size. So groups of 8, when a group of 8 is formed, you can let us know and we'll try to have a group discussion for you. Okay, so of course, it will just be a GD with some feedback. Obviously, we are not going to repeat the same thing. And at the same time, we also want to ensure that as many people get exposed as possible. So it cannot be the same set of people all the time. So we have to ensure that there is some sort of diversity. And then, of course, there are 2 universities involved. And so we would like to have some balance there too. For the rest of you who want to participate, again, it is important to understand that you have to be on camera. So it means you have to have a good internet connection, a camera, and even if you are nervous, the only way, as Raza said, is for you to sort of, participate. That is the only way to improve. You can watch others as many times as you want, but it is not going to help you as much as if you try. And even if you fail, it is okay. This is a friendly environment. And luckily, in the pandemic, you don't even know each other. So it doesn't really matter in the sense that you are not there in the same physical space. Even if you fail, it shouldn't really matter that much. And so this is just an opportunity for you to improve. And so I think the ball is in your court. If you want to improve and if you can form a group and come to us, we have a number of mentors who would be willing to help, I think. Raza Mir and his brother Ali Mir are going to be the central players, I think, in this whole enterprise. But we are here to support him and Ali. And I think many of our mentors may sort of, participate in this. We will not have so many mentors in one meeting because we want to obviously make sure that, not everybody has to spend this much time. But we will have, one moderator at least, obviously, to moderate this stuff.
Asim, can I add a few things here? Yeah, you remember we discussed extensively before we came up with the idea of this group discussion. A few things we had in our mind was that you all should get used to group discussions, online group discussions. You should feel comfortable when finally you are appearing for your selection process through group discussion. You should not feel awkward or you don't know how to conduct yourself. And that is possible only if you practice a lot. So please understand the groups is very large, about 85 are present. I was checking the numbers. So we cannot have say 10 groups and giving 8-10 opportunities to everybody. So you all have to do it between yourself. I have a feeling that unless you practice in 10 to 12 sessions, you will not really get a good grip over it. Try and figure out how do you do it. Now, one idea was that we will give you CETI will give you the moderators, but why don't you also start playing the role of moderator? That would be a good idea. Then what you do, you start looking at the group critically, and then when you do that, you will not make those mistakes when you are participating. So to have a good schedule and keep on changing groups. Don't have the same participant in every group, and see if you can do at least 6 to 8 group participants, 6 to 8 group discussions. You can take the help of your professors too. I'm sure I was saying that Fayaz has Parvez Saab has volunteered to be the moderator. So I'm sure both the universities have enough professors who can do the moderation. And then try to practice as much as possible so that when you finally go in for your group discussion in the selection process, you are just it should be a walkover for you, more or less.
Yeah, in fact, actually one advantage that Zoom has is that you can record yourself. So you don't even need a moderator. You can just do the group discussion and then look at it afterwards and see how you did and what you can do to improve. So this is a wonderful opportunity, in fact. And I think, in fact, Basharat Bhai, when Raza talked about many years ago, we doing something similar. I mean, Basharat Bhai made sure that we would have a group discussion, and then I remember Raza was the moderator. So basically, you don't even need us in some sense. All you need is the initiative to do it yourself. We will try to supply as many moderators as we can, but at the same time, ultimately, if you are the makers of your own fortune, right? So you have to work hard towards that, and I think that would be extremely valuable.
I remember, Raza, we had 4 discussions Monday through Thursday in Hotel Rajdhani.
Yeah.
The practice is the key, actually.
And people were helped by that. Yeah, but
that was way back in 1986, right? Yeah, 25 years back, 35 years back.
35. I agree that you can do stuff with yourself, but I want to reiterate on behalf of myself and Asim and all of us that we will also provide moderators, and we are really, really ready to help out. And having said that, we'll do the rest of the conversing over WhatsApp. And thank you very much for your time and having stayed up till 11 o'clock.
The initiative has to come from you all.
Indeed. Thank you very much to all, and good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Hassan. Thank you, Professor Hassan.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Have fun.
Thank you, sir.